We're excited. How are you? Thank God it's Friday. Welcome. My name is Sijama, and let's just take a break. And when we come back, I will tell you exactly what we'll have with you this period and who has joined me for the program. Okay, welcome back. It's press review this morning, and I have gentlemen that have joined me to do justice to that. They are Ejike Abata. Ejike Abata is a journalist and a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Ejike.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Okay, he's also my brother. All right. Then I have Tochukwu Okafo, engineer, is also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Tochukwu.
Good morning.
Okay, I would have said that he's my brother because he's bearing the same name with me, Okafo. Okay, welcome. Now, let's see the stories that are making the rounds from our website this morning. Anambra State Government repeats directive on the silting of drainages, warns against indiscriminate dumping of waste. And then Anambra State Government lifts curfew in Newi, Onitsha, Obaru areas. The last story there said Anambra State Assembly stores Soludo on quality road infrastructure. These are many more the stories you'll find from our website this morning, www.absradiotv.com. Okay, gentlemen, the Minister of Environment, a few weeks ago, maybe about 1 or 2 weeks now, we are in March, gave us instruction on how to keep our drainages and the silt our drainages and keep environments clean. And the state government is frowning that this instruction is not being adhered to. Educate.
The indiscriminate dumping of waste is a major challenge globally, and it's not different in Nigeria and Anambra. I feel embittered when I see vehicles on motion and somebody just throws out the waste out of the window.
Hey.
Some persons even while gather their waste from the house and come out in the drainage and dump the waste there.
Even on the road.
Even so, it's something government really needs to tackle, because we can't get this right, especially when it starts to rain. If we do not tackle this, there needs to be stringent measures there are consequences for persons who flout such rules. If government has said dispute your drainages, dispute, because that is what you should do. You don't expect government to do everything for you. Government will play its part, while you as a citizen should also play your part. If the floods come, it may not affect government, it will affect you who is resident in that area. So why not learn to keep your environment clean? And then if you play your part, then government will come in and play its own part.
Mm-hmm. And the flood is coming because the rains are coming. Yes. Okafor, you might want to come in there.
Let me contribute to this. It is not just the silting of the drainages. What are they silting? It's not just sand and silt. No. The people have a law of dumping their trash bin and whatever they gather from their houses or their business places inside the gutter. Most often they do that during rainfall or maybe during hot hours. They just dump their trash in the gutter, and then all these things goes on to flood the drainage. And then if they're not, water must always try to find this way. We're about to witness the onset of rain, and if our gutter is in a mess, I mean, definitely we're not going to have a very free flow of water. And when water is not being when water is not flowing down to where it is required, definitely there will be flood, and it will affect everybody. And the business premises will be flooded, and houses will also be flooded, just like we witnessed over the years. So it's very important that people should make sure that their gutters and every of their business premises are sealed, and make sure that no trash is remaining in the gutter so that water will flow.
I think this is very important. You just mentioned you don't want to clear the drainages, okay, but don't contribute to blocking of the drainages, because you asigi kpocha ijuni ime kpocha then ibulukwa ifia na adonyekwa n'ime iyotago adonye na ifia so that obugodu na ikpocha zuru ya ka ọ dịtụ ka enwe ike wee ka ọ dịtụ mma gali block waterways. And then it is important for us to tell you this, because very soon you say that the government is rough handling the citizens. Remember, Ocha Brigade has been commissioned to go on inspection all around the state. So if they see you, if they catch you, you know how they do now. Ada yota fabiko, yota go. So do the right thing. Do the right thing now before you start complaining that the government is using all these agencies to intimidate an Umbrellians. But when they ask you to do what you're supposed to do, you won't. Okay, we'll jump to the second story because okay, let's talk about that because I know that sometime, I don't know whether it has been relaxed, but that's what the news is saying. There's sometime in Onitsha, I stay in Onitsha anyway, that the kekes will not ride after a particular hour. I think it's after 8 o'clock or so. So why we ask, has there been any coffee at all? Then it does appear now the place can at Apollo Diego there.
Well, for whatever reasons, security especially, since the coming of the governor, he has tried to settle disputes amongst keke riders and their unions, especially as it concerns collection of levy. I think that was what brought about the curfew in these areas, and there seems to have been calm compared to what we usually observe in the past. Anakatandi keke agbara strike riot ade onye ona na akpali wisi na mma na but that seemed to have stalled for a while, which means there is something right the governor must have done, and his commissioners and aides.
That's
so
sanity.
The relapsing of the curfew, it's a good thing so that people can go back to their normal way of life.
Okay. Yeah, our last story this morning says Anambra State Assembly extols Soludo on quality road infrastructure. Yes, I don't know whether they've even seen all that has been put on ground in terms of road construction, because when was that? I think it was on a Wednesday. I went to this place, Oba Ofemili, through Amansi, the 28-kilometer newly constructed kilometer road there. I couldn't believe that at a stage I thought I have entered Enugu State. The road so smooth, so clean, and very new. And I was asking, can this maybe the wheels are well, which are gear? Because I remember when I went to Ebenebe, was this sometime towards the end of last year or beginning of this year? These are the run anyhow. But then just this week I went there, it was just, and then a whole lot of road constructions that he has embarked on. Okafor, are we underreporting the infrastructural development of the state?
Yes, I think we're underreporting. Because just the road you mentioned, I was opportune to apply that road. That was last month, and it was marvelous. And not just that for both road. There are many roads coming to Onitsha, Fege, Port Harcourt Road, many roads. And the interesting part of it is that each local government in Anambra State, there is road construction in one or two places. In fact, road construction it's been taking place simultaneously in all local governments. And the quality of the road and everything is perfect. So I think we are underreporting, and maybe the media has not really been doing fair justice on.
We are doing our work. The problem is that most of you are on cable watching African movies, so they don't listen to radio. That's one thing with our people. They don't listen to radio. They don't watch television.
It's not just the road, the quality of the road and everything, the drainage, everything is to perfection, and it's kudos to him.
Yes, Ejike.
Yes, I'm particular about the governor going on inspection on those roads.
Very important.
Taking out his time to go there, and on the spot, he fires contractors who are not delivering on the said project, and hiring others. It shows
commitment.
It shows commitment. It shows a seriousness. It shows that what he intends to, or what the promises he made to Anambra, that he has, he's willing to deliver on it. So contractors are on their toes, knowing well that if they do not deliver, that they might be sacked. And that's why most of these roads are, when they are commissioned, they start work immediately, and most of them deliver as at when due. So I want to commend Mr. Governor. I also urge his commissioners to also do the same. Whichever ministry you man, make sure you are on the spot. Don't just assign responsibilities and then sit back. At the end of the day, you look for somebody to hold responsible. No, you should take the blame if these works are not done.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's now look at what the papers are saying. Like what we are seeing in our state now, that the governor has turned Anambra State to a construction site, not just constructing roads, constructing what do you call it, flyovers, bridges here and there. And we want to thank him very much on behalf of International Women's Day today. Aine Kenegi Governor Dalu. Yes, let's look at the papers. The Daily Sun is our first paper this morning, and the banner headline there say, Defense Minister furious over coup rumor, and then others arrest of those calling for it. And down here I have bandits abduct over 200 pupils, teachers in Kaduna school. Reps charge security agencies to rescue 300 abducted women in Borno. 200 plus abducted in Kaduna, 300 in Borno. What's going on? Somebody is busy talking about coup. Okay, what are they doing concerning security? Minimum wage, Lagos NLC proposes 794,000 naira, TUC 447,000 naira at Southwest hearing, and then 709,000 naira for workers in FCT. Why the discordant tone? Why are they asking differently? Okay, that's all from, okay, let's see if we can get other stories from this paper. Tinubu unveils Nigeria for Women program, condemns harmful practice, still coming from Daily Sun anyway. And then Buhari, Boss Mustafa's signature, we are forged, witness tells court in Emefiele's case. At Geneva, federal government pushes for more ILO jobs for Nigerian professionals. Okay, that's all we're taking from here. Let's look at Daily Times. Daily Times newspaper. Bandits kidnapped 232 pupils, teachers in Kaduna school. And then federal government moves to tap from a $5.2 billion carbon market. What else do we have? CBN to sanction MFBs, that's PMBs and the DFS for failing to file returns. Okay, any other story coming from here? Emefiele, Buhari, Mustafa's signature, we are forged. Witness tell court, we have seen that story. Let's get over to Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard newspaper. Okay, minimum wage, NLC, TUC, split. Wants different pay in zones. Different pay in zones that are in the same country. Bandits invade Kaduna school, kidnap over 200 pupils and teachers. A new satellite pay TV will give Nigeria's value for money, federal government. Okay, that's all from Vanguard. Let's look at Punch before we start talking. Punch newspaper, please. The Punch. Outrage as bandits kidnap 280 pupils from Kaduna schools. Let's look at the riders and see if we can get something different from what we have seen. Teacher says gunmen invaded primary, secondary schools after morning assembly. kidnapped over 280 pupils and workers. Government visits schools, promises pupils rescue, and then JNI, PTA, Amnesty International condemn attack. What is going on in this country? What? We are people that kidnapped over 200 people. Did they come with just a bike or just a vehicle? What really happened? Let's talk about this, Ejike. What's going on in Kaduna and Borno State? Borno case was IDP camp. This one is school.
Insecurity is what is going on, and lack of government commitment is also what is going on there. It's unfortunate. You know, if our leaders have been able to stop this thing, it wouldn't have festered this long. It started during Jonathan's era, and over 10 years, after a decade, we're still talking about abduction. Even those who were abducted, most of them have not even returned, and more persons have been abducted. And it's all about promises. Police said they are on their trail. The governor of Kaduna said they would be rescued. In this time and era, why would a school not be fenced? In this time and era, why would it? So what happened? There was a time they talked about fencing schools, you know, so that for security. What happened to the funds that were released at that time? Primary schools at that. Now we are hearing that
the school was not fenced.
Yes, the school.
Do you think fencing the school would have stopped them?
It may.
They are armed.
Yes, it may not stop them, but
They
at
are
least
armed.
You have to be proactive. Do what you have to do. You understand? Do what you have to do. The fact that you lock your door before going to bed does not mean armed robbers cannot come. But that doesn't mean you should leave your door open. So you should fence the schools, for God's sake. You should fence the schools. A child might even stroll out of the school without anybody knowing, without the fence. So it's not just about for bandits' sake. Schools should be fenced. That is the proper thing to do. So, and we're also hearing that some of the pupils we have adopted were orphans. Probably their parents might have died as a result of the insurgencies going on in that area. So their parents might have been killed, now they are abducted. Is that the kind of life we want to bequeath on our children, for God's sake? So it's a problem that that seems to have overwhelmed the past three administrations, or the past two administrations, including the present one. And there seems to be no end in sight. Sadly enough, there seems to be no end in sight.
Honestly.
And then we keep hearing that the bandits have been subdued, bandits, their leaders have been eliminated, their leaders have been arrested.
Insecurity has been dealt with.
But the reverse is the case. So it's a sad situation. Of course, Amnesty has made a statement. The presidency will also condemn. That is what they are good at, condemning. And but you fail to be proactive, for God's sake. It's sad.
Very sad. Yes, Okafor, what do you have to say? Because the House of Press said that have given, they have mandated security agencies to ensure these people were rescued. Does this just start and stop there?
Let me say this. I think we are downplaying security in this country. Forget about what they say during campaign and everything that they tell us, and they will do this, they will protect us, and they will do this. And my fellow analysts will say, talking about the fencing school, I mean, it's not even the issue here, because those criminals, they come sophisticated. And let me even ask, how can you move? Some media, some newspapers are saying 230, some are saying 230, some are saying 280. How can you move 280 persons? I mean, what did they came with? Is it truck or what? And without having a trace of where they are. And how can you tell somebody that and you expect me to believe? And again,
you didn't see them coming,
yes,
and nobody stopped them while they were going.
Let me say, when we had the abduction, they kidnapped 63 persons and train incidents. That they took 63 persons and they paid, eventually, ransom were paid over 6 billion. That was what was reported. And when you make kidnapping a lucrative venture, everybody, most criminals would like to venture into that. If there is no deterrent, if there is no punishment attached to that. When you make it seem that when it's done, government will come together, will talk. After that, sometimes those people will be left to their people for them to contribute the money and then bring them back. When it's being left to the people to bring them back by paying the ransom, it became a venture. People would like to venture to kidnapping, and nobody is really discouraged. Forget about what the media is saying. We're on top of the situation. Government will call meeting and all that. That they will, after 2 days, 3 days, nothing will be heard of it. There has been incidents of kidnapping.
Why is government reluctant on fighting insecurity?
I know that if they want to stop kidnapping, they will.
So what is stopping them?
24 hours ago, 200 women were abducted from IDP camp.
Imagine what they're going through.
200. Do you see the number? And then not up to 24 hours, 280 from a school. And it keeps happening. These are the ones that are being reported. There are incidents of kidnapping in Niger, Benue State. Farmers are being chased out. They are being taxed. They are paying levy before they can go to the farm. We cannot fight food. When there is insecurity, you can't get food security at all. All those things goes together. You cannot get food security when there is insecurity in the country. So it's high time the government stop playing to the gallery and then come up and face this insecurity. I mean, totally. You cannot tell me that we have NIN legislation. Those criminals, they contact people, they contact families for ransom. We have NIN SIM linkage. Why can't those people? There's no proper intelligence gathering in this country. If these people were to be, in fact, before you can, how can you move such a number of people and then you're telling me that nobody there's no checkpoint anywhere? It's
horrible.
There's no checkpoint anywhere. It's just like moving a cattle, because for you to move 280 persons, you must come with a truck. So it's very difficult to believe, and I don't know what is happening. And when you don't have this, when there's no security, how can investors come in? How can we build our economy? How can we attract investors? How can we even have food security? Recently, we are now importing food from Ukraine. I mean, a war-torn Ukraine. We are importing. Ukraine, we are giving us grain, whereas we have the capacity and what it takes for us to have our own food. Farmers couldn't go to farm again.
It's horrible. Okay, let's move on, gentlemen. Let's move on. Minimum wage, NLC, TUC split. Wants different pay in zones. Ejike, what's going on in these labor unions? NLC called for strike, TUC did not come out, and now NLC has their own pay pack. These people would have their own.
It's as a result of a meeting that NLC meeting held in Southwest. The meeting was held in Lagos, and understood the Minister of Finance, Wale Edu, even attended that meeting. And the summary of the whole thing is they will go back and harmonize and come out with a unified proposal. But then, if you look at the figures being quoted, it's laughable. It's as if they are making mockery of their demands. I mean, if you are making demands, make the demands that are feasible. Currently, of course, they may have made such proposals as a result of what we are seeing with government. Government will tell you that there's no money, but you see them living lavishly, and that is perhaps that is why they came up with such amount of or such proposals, 700 and something thousand, 400 and something thousand. As we are now, it's a given that governments cannot afford to pay such an amount, except they decide to cut down the cost of governance.
Governments can afford to pay themselves in millions and buy cars and renovate their houses in billions, but they cannot afford to pay the workers.
Even if they cut down these salaries, or if they cut down their own allowances and whatever amount they call it, or whatever name they target, NLC might not even be demanding up to that amount. If because of the problem with government is they tell you to tighten your belts, but they don't tighten their own belt. That's where the problem is. Government will tell you not to apply, not to drive against traffic, but they drive against traffic and nothing happens. That is where the problem is. So that's why they are called leaders. They should lead while the people will follow, but they're not leading our rights. And that is why the followers are in disarray. And you don't blame them. So if they are making such demands, it's as a result of what the amount of spending that they see government. Okay, look at how much was squandered during Buhari's era through ways and means. There are things that you hear and you begin, you show that.
So demand for your own.
You ask what kind of nation are we in? Ways and means is just a fund that is accessible to the president. They don't need to go through the National Assembly. You just go to the CBN, they release the money to you, then later you pay back. How many of them pay back? Look at the trillions of money that was squandered under through ways and means, and they are not being accounted for. No wonder why the former CBN governor wanted to vie for president as a sitting CBN governor, because he had access to the nation's funds.
That is why you should not blame the workers for demanding anything. That's nothing they demand that is too much.
We are saying the same thing.
Okay, let's move on, gentlemen. Defense Minister furious over Q rumor. Others arrest of those calling for Q. Okafor.
Well, the Q issue and rumors, he said it's rumor, because to me it's a rumor. And all those rumors have gone out of when there is insecurity, and when there is food scarcity, when people are not comfortable, when people are struggling to make ends meet, and when people are not satisfied with certain things that have been happening. When you are in a country and you hear about billions and trillions of naira being looted, and then you are going to bed hungry, and people will start to think of the unthinkable. It is not out of context to witness such thoughts and views, but it's also a warning to the politicians to actually do the right thing and save our economy and save people, because many Nigerians go to bed hungry. This is just the truth. This is just the right, the truth. That's what's happening now, and they should make the people feel the good governance. If a particular government comes up and says, okay, let me tackle insecurity and the economy, then if he end up achieving a tremendous impact in these two areas, then we'll be satisfied. And that government will now say, okay, let me tackle power and other things, roads and whatever, But they find out that in the end of it all, we don't see any improvement in all sectors. Whatever they campaign with, whatever they tell us, they go there, they do another thing. So it's high time that the politicians and public officials that buckle up and then do the right thing and make people feel the impact of the government, and let the people have the sense of belonging. It's not just enough to tell us to, let us persevere, let us have hope, or let us give us time for us to achieve this, whereas we don't even have that time again. The economy is not in order. We need, when you're talking about cutting costs, let the cutting costs be across board. Look at what happened in Argentina. The economy plunged into serious inflation. In fact, they witnessed over 160% inflation. And what caused that? Because of the rascality, the spending of public office holders, and financial investment and all that. Until the new president came on board. And what did he do differently? He cut the cost of governance totally to the barest minimum. What do we see here in this country? You find out that most of the times our presidents, we have in this country, travel to several countries and on the jamborees and whatever. And sometimes you see the kind of entourage that follows them to effect such travel. And you ask yourself, why can't these people have like 20 or 30% that they travel with? Must they pay all the flight fares and all the extra code attached to these people? And then, this thing is weighing down the economy of the country. We know what happened during the COP28, that's the climate summit, and then Nigerians traveled to 422 persons. That was what the presidency came out and said, yes, 422 persons was assigned to travel with us. And then some people say that it's more than that. 14 and over 2.7 billion was used for that travel, and so many other travels, so many other things. Look at the 557 point something billion for houses. I mean for vehicle, House of Assembly members, and all those things. What goes down to the common man? So if people are talking about, so I don't blame them, and I don't see it as a real information. No, these are just side talks, and according to the caption, they say it's a rumor, and I still believe it's a rumor. So it's one out of people's reaction to what they're feeling now.
When you're not comfortable with your situation, you want a change. Perhaps that's why the rumor is coming out that instead of this kind of government, I think we'll prefer, kind of a thing, this or that. But it's very unfortunate that it's in this present administration that people started calling for a coup, for a takeover of government. Okay, so if you know what you are doing that is making people uncomfortable, you have to adjust, because everybody knows that military rule is nowhere close to democracy. But then when democracy is no longer democracy, people will tell that they don't even know the difference between when you are in a democratic dispensation and then when you are in a military rule. Okay, let's move on now and look at other papers. The next paper we're going to look at this morning is the Guardian newspaper. On the front page of the Guardian newspaper, millions of widows in dire straits over lack of structural empathy. And then I didn't start that story. We're widowed by insurgency and the gallantries. Millions of widows in their straits over lack of structure. This is what we go through. This is what we face in this country, even when we're not in a war. Men are being destroyed in their numbers and their women widows. And then as if that's not enough, the widowed women are being abducted by insurgents. And which country lists like this? Okay. Nigerian women tax government on inclusion, gender balance beyond yearly promises. This is coming on International Women's Day. Nigerian women tax government on inclusion, gender balance beyond yearly promise of who we do and then we will not do again. We'll wait for another International Women's Day to make another promise. Court admits evidence in $6.2 million alleged fraud suit against Emefiele. Agency backing threatened as fraudsters run operators out of business. Fubara offers to give up office in exchange for peace. Wow. What's still going on in Rivers? Okay. Reps all condemn kidnap epidemic as bandits abduct dozens of Kaduna school pupils. And that is what is trending in all the papers. Let's look at the Daily Trust and see if we can get something different. Bandits abduct 287 students. The numbers are still increasing. 287 students, principal from Kaduna school. Over 200 orphans among victims. School not fenced. Okay, that's where GK got that. And then principal killed recently. Okay, it was that school that lost their principal to this, oh God, wife abducted. Horrible. Why are they particular about that school? I don't even think it's owned by an indigenous. I think we'll have heard something about that school. They will be rescued. Governor Sani is governor of Kaduna State. He said that they will be rescued, as if you know where they are. We are trailing attackers, and this is coming from police as usual. Pilots survive as Air Force suffers mishap in Kaduna. Borno dispatches team to rescue abducted female IDPs. 2 killed as robbers attack banks. Police station in Kogi. This is what we hear every day, and then depression keeps knocking on your door. All right. Is there any other story coming from here? None of interest. Okay, our last paper this morning is the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune. Bandits invade Kaduna school, 280 pupils missing, and then feared abducted. Ensure safe return of abducted pupils, reps tell security agencies. And that's all about it. Anyway, God will help us in this country. Gentlemen, let's talk about the Women's Day. Today is International Women's Day, and then women are telling government, Nigerian women task government on inclusion, gender balance beyond yearly promises of we will do, and some of them are still saying that 35% affirmation is still very low. Why not throw it open? And then make it 50-50. All these years that men have been there, we have not seen anything different. What if a woman becomes president of Nigeria? Will this place break?
Well, I want to commend Guardian newspaper for dedicating their front page to celebration of women, though they have a negative report typical of what is obtainable in Nigeria. It's a sad one, rather than extol the virtues of women. They decided to draw attention to what some women are going through, especially wives of or widows whose husband died as a result of insurgency, and widows whose husbands were in the military, and they also died fighting or defending the unity of Nigeria. It's a sad one, and I think their demands are not out of place. Now you are talking about 50-50. The 35%, have they even gotten the 35% before you start to demand for 50-50? So government in this area and in Africa keep making promises that they don't even, in years to come, they don't intend to keep such promises. And yeah, it's high time we started looking at seeing everybody as equals and humans. The fact that you are a man does not mean the lady is, let's say, a human being. No. We are all gifted in our own ways. We have roles that we are supposed to play. It's not, and also women also should also go back and look at themselves, because there seems to be their own problem. There seems to be their own enemies. I remember the primary that was held. I don't know, maybe sometime in 2007 or thereabout, when Sarah Jibrin contested for primary to be PDP flag bearer for president. She got only one vote, Sarah Jibrin. She got only one vote, which means she voted for herself. But she's a woman, and there are women who came as delegates. So women are their own problem. They don't make use of their numbers. You know, they tend to this talk about bring him Down syndrome. It's more prominent amongst women. They don't see themselves as one. So that's where they should start to look at themselves. Some persons are beginning, or some groups are beginning to. I'm not talking about feminism here. Please, let's keep that aside, because feminism in Nigeria means something else. Feminism in Nigeria means something else. I'm talking about women who will stand up and say things and help their fellow women without prejudice. That's where I'm aiming at. If we are able to raise such women, we have women in tech, we have several women today who are chairman of banks in Nigeria, and they are doing well. So these are the type of women that I'm talking about. We should be able to rise to the occasion and challenge, fight for a space on the table. Power, they say, is not given, it is taken. If women should come together and unite, they would be able to meet their target and get whatever they intend to achieve. Back to what the papers say, some of these women are widowed. Some of their husbands were in the military. How are the children being taken care of? It should be a thing of pride for you to be in the military or in the police or in the Air Force or in the Navy, knowing well that should anything happen to you, your family will be taken care of. But is that what we are seeing? Some of them they are called together and they are given 2 million naira. 2 million naira, is it to take care of, to send your child to school for how long? Or is it for you to feed that child? For how long would that money take you? So there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of taking care of these widows, especially widows whose husband died as a result of insurgency.
Okay. Thank you very much. When you talk about women not supporting women, I think one thing that I have noticed, which of course that's a very important area to talk to women, those of them that get into power seems to use that as against their fellow women. Let me just give you one clue why they don't support themselves. Your friend just got appointment and becomes something else, and he sees you as it becomes, her position becomes an opportunity for her to tell you that we are not in the same level now. Okay? And that's one of the reasons, one of the major reasons why women don't support themselves. Because once they get there, they look at other ones. Men don't do that. They still drink beer with their friends, even as commissioners, even as governors. They still pick costs from their friends, and they still talk like friends. But it's so difficult with women. Okay? So that's just one of the problems. And then sometimes they just feel, when you back, you will oppress them.
It needs to be changed.
Okay, but before we go, let's look at this. MFLE, Buhari, most of our signatures were forged. Witness tells court. And there's been this dilemma that this young man is going on. We mentioned his name, being a CBN governor, coming out and using all the resources of the nation to come and, to come and contest for presidential election. And now he is going through travel. Do you think that is orchestrated by maybe envy, jealousy, or kind of vendetta? Okafor?
Well, for me, I don't see it as a witch hunt, But I think the case is in court. He can go there and answer his case, and then if he's guilty or not, he can prove himself in the court of law. But so far, the information, or rather the news that are available on the mainstream media is not actually encouraging. Because what they are alleging, if it is true, is mind-blowing. And then from the forging of signature and the tune of the amount of money they are calling, and is something else. And several bank accounts, and both foreign and local, and billions and trillions of naira there. So it's something else, and that is what has been the problem. Let me say, there has never been, it's difficult to see any minister or permanent secretary, most public office holders that are clean in Nigeria. That is very sad. I heard of the chairman of Electricity Regulation Agency or something like that, and being accused of 1.something trillion. The man has been removed to face a trial. So the amount of money they call is something else that it will make you sick. You that are a common man in Nigeria that is struggling to make ends meet, and then you hear billions and trillions of naira. How do you feel? So I'm not trying to. So I don't see that as a witch hunt. No, it's not, because there has been allegations, and there has been possibly people has evidence, and there has been an account mentioned. I read most of all those things, and if he's claiming to that he didn't do all those things, you can defend himself in the court of law.
Okay, let him go and defend himself. Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. And Ejike Abata, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
And Tochukwu Okafor, engineer, thank you for coming too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's where we're drawing the curtain on this morning's edition, or this week's edition of Press Review on Good Morning Anambra, because today is Friday. So we're going to get back to you on Monday. God keeping us. Thank you very much. My name is Ijama. Do stand by now as we bring you other programs.